Hi everyone. Welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Saya's Route, Episode 2. So, the confession between Saya and Akito was pretty quick, but the bigger problem is that they aren't really doing anything that is considered special, and all the things that they've been doing close together has been pretty much routine. So, Saya getting pet hair all over her uniform because Kotarou, the dog, is too excited, and Akito having to clean Saya up. And they did get some suggestions from the other girls at the Six Stars Club, but I don't think any of them are going to work out, especially from Hikari with her crazy ideas. So right now, Saya is at the Saotome Stop convenience store studying for her tests, and I wonder what Akito is going to do to get closer to Saya and kind of do things that are more special than the typical routine stuff. So the Kotarou, Saya coming in the morning to greet Akito, and then when they leave the convenience store, Saya goes to school, and so does Akito. So Saya's like, so Saya must have gotten to one of her stopping points, because she sat down, or she put her pencil down. And before she could do it, I reached out and grabbed the pudding. Oh, so allow me to feed you. Okay, so say ah. So if you notice, I turned down the BGM volume a little bit because it was quite loud, and especially for Saya's route, it's hard to hear what Saya has to say, so hopefully this will help. So Saya opens her mouth just enough for me to fit a spoonful of pudding. Oh, nothing. Well, my answer didn't seem to satisfy her, and she tilted her head questioningly. And she was not blushing in the least. Oh, so does me feeding you like this really feel no different than you eating by yourself? Well, it is special if you feed it to me, so... Okay, so we see this nice little CG. So Saya opens her mouth again, waiting for another bite. So when did she become this cute? And the fact that I could not get her to blush was a bit unsatisfying, but knowing that she was this comfortable around me was not bad either. So I felt like a mother and bird feeding one of her chicks as I placed another spoonful of pudding in Saya's mouth. Well, you're so cute. You know that? Well, that gets her to blush a little. Well, I know Saya was cute since we met, but I was just now realizing how cute her behavior is, too. Okay, so, one more bite. And just as Saya went to take a bite, I pulled the spoon away. So I wonder what happened. Oh, you fell for it. So I wonder if Akito pretended to feed Saya and then at the last second he pulls the spoon away and he just wants to see Saya a little bit angry that he tricked her. So messing around like this was fun, and it tickled a bit too. So I like to see Sai angry and beating me up. Okay, I'm joking around. So here, no tricks this time. So I will feed you correctly. So let her take a bite this time. Saya looks content. So a blissful smile spreads across her face. She is an angel. I am sitting next to an angel. Okay, so you fed me, now I will feed you. Okay, So I nod my head in silence. The mixture of blissful emotions mixed with the pudding's sweetness is overwhelming. So Saya looks delighted as she turns shyly back to her studies. So what else is wrong? The expression on her face told me that the sweet break had replenished her energy reserves. She is ready for another round of study. Okay, so it's gonna be boring now. So I wanted to stay and watch her study a bit longer, but a customer comes in, so I had to make my way back to the register. So I gotta serve him. So Sai continues studying while I work the register. And after about an hour, she closes her textbook or notebook and gathers up her textbooks from the table. So are you going home now? So it's getting late. Okay, I'll walk with you home. But aren't you still on the clock? It was still a bit early for Kotarou's walk as well. Well, it's fine. So, Miharu-san?
Nani?
Oh, I'm going to walk Saya home, so can you watch the counter for a bit? Fine. So Miharu-san stepped into her slippers and comes out from the back. She always did have a soft spot when it comes to Saya. Well, it won't be long, so... Okay, let's go. Okay, good night, Sensei. So I wonder what bad people are out there, because it's just going to be Saya and Akito. I don't know. Or more like Miharu's jealous, like, I can't believe they're together. Versus Miharu, who always gets scolded by her mother for still being like this. So we walked early, or side by side down the dark street. And without Kotarou with us, it's quieter than usual. And Sai seems to be in a good mood. Wow, so you sure study hard. Really? Well, I guess you have to, because... So Seisen Girls Academy is a prestigious school, and the curriculum is hard. Well, it's not all hard studying. And plus, I don't have much to do anyways. So even at a school as tough as Seisen, Sai's grades are good. And she never tells me, so I'm not sure, but I hear that her test scores are in the top 30. So, despite it being a really difficult school, Sai manages to get good grades. But then again, you're kind of special as well because you have to go to school and work at the same time. So you're keeping up both a job and your studies. Well, I only do it because I have to. Well, he doesn't really have to, and plus, if you remember, the mother Saotome keeps telling Akito to relax on his works, and it's like, well, focus more on your studies, and focus more on your relationship with other people, like the ones in the Six Stars Club, and let my daughter Miharu-san do more of the work. So there are times that I wanted to skip an early shift, but overall the store manager was nice to me and the work was not really that bad. And between Sai and Takeichi dropping by to hang out, as well as my regular customers, Kotarou and Miharu sensei, I am never bored. So have you ever thought of getting a part-time job?
うちはアルバイト禁止だから。それにおばあちゃんに怒られると思う。学生の本分は勉強だろうって。
So yeah, my school, it's like focus on studying. Don't worry too much about part-time job or stuff. And plus size family won't support it. Well, I wouldn't want your grandma to get mad at me. Well, she scares me. So Sai suddenly stumbles over a small rock and loses her balance. I grab her arm to keep her from falling. Thanks? Well, Sai was always falling over, so I was constantly keeping an eye on her for any signs of trouble without even thinking about it. I was always ready to react and lend her a hand. And now I saw this as my chance. For what? Okay, so you sure do fall a lot, Saya. Well, I'm sorry. That's how it's always been. Well, I don't want you to trip again, so how about I hold your hand? Okay. So for a moment, she looks like she would refuse, but then she nodded her head. Okay, I'll do it. So up until now, the only things that we held hands had been in places like forests or other spots where the footing had been dangerous. And even then, it was usually just Saya holding my arm or grabbing onto my sleeve. And I ignored the unnaturalness of the moment and took her hand in mine. So her hand is small enough that it fits easily within mine. And he comments it. So it's the only thing my brain could think to say as it screamed, well, we're holding hands.
Akito 君の手が大きいんだよ。男の子ってすごいね。昔は同じくらいだったのに。
So on the other hand, Saya comments about how Akito's hands are big.
すごく頼もしいな。
And it feels good. So Saya's small hands squeeze mine a bit tighter. And I begin to redden a bit at her comment. Wait, so am I supposed to get her to blush? Rather than blushing, though, Saya looks completely relaxed. She even starts swinging our hands back and forth like a little bird or a little kid might. So, do I make you feel that comfortable?
何?
Nothing? So Operation Heartbeat has failed again. And what could I possibly do to get her heart racing? So it's like, well, even if we hold hands, it still feels like a routine or just normal friendship. Well, if that's the case, I decided to throw all my cards on the table the next morning. So what is he going to do now? Okay, so it is the next day. And once again, Kotarou is all over Saya. Because he's excited. Akito-kun, help me? Well, at least you're consistent. So, once again, it is expected that you would have pet hair from Kotarou being too excited over Saya. Saya enters the store covered in Kotarou's fur again this morning. So I grabbed the lint roller I had kept set aside just for Saya again. Okay, here's your arms. As I start cleaning up the hair off of her shirt like normal, I was getting excited about my secret plans. Okay, it's time. So last night when Saya had been at the store, I got to feed her some pudding, but it was not enough to get her to blush. And even holding her hands on the way home hadn't been enough to get the response I wanted. So I wonder, what's the point of getting Saya to blush? It's like, does it really feel like it's going to bring her closer to Akito? So I should have felt something special, but okay, so he wants it special. But to Saya and me, who had known each other for so long, it felt too normal. I need to find a way to get her heart racing. And I really want to. I've been hoping this opportunity would present itself since I got the idea last night. And I waited for the right time to make my move. Okay, so, hey, you have some on the back of your shirt or skirt. No, I'll do that. Oh, don't worry about it. So, I'll get it for you. So this time, I was like, well, I'm going to use this method to get her heart to race. And usually Saya takes care of the back, but this time Akito wants to help Saya instead. So as I moved the lint roller along the curve of Saya's butt, her back stiffened and she went suddenly rigid. Hold still. Okay. So I glanced up, Saya's face was bright red, and she looked like she did not know what to do. It's definitely working. So I could see Saya's face red and blushing, so kind of like a surprise for her. She hadn't even missed a beat when I was feeding her pudding, but this time she is finally blushing. There you go. Nice. I had to make the best of this opportunity while it lasted, so I spent extra time to make sure I got every last hair. Okay, that's enough. Oh, I see some more hair. And I hope Akito isn't being carried away in his attempt to make Saya blush. Okay, there you go. That should be good. I decided that was enough, so I pulled the lint roller away. And that's when things went wrong. Hi everyone. So, unfortunately, I had to cut out some parts. And basically, Akito went way too far with the lint roller in his attempt to make Saya blush. So, he is done cleaning the pet hair from Saya's uniform, but he had no idea that there was tape on the lint roller, and he accidentally flipped up Saya's uniform as he pulled the lint roller away from her uniform, and he could see Saya's underwear. And then Saya realized what was wrong, and she was screaming, and Akito tried to explain what happened. But for Saya, it was way too embarrassing, and she just ran out. And I think this is going to hurt their relationship a bit, or a lot. And basically, Akito's attempt, it fails. And it fails really hard. So now that Saya has run out from the convenience store, let's see how Akito's going to pick it up from here. So Saya picks up her bag and runs out of the store faster than I've ever seen her move before. Saya, wait! I just stood there with a dumbfounded look on my face, lint roller still in hand. And the store manager must have finished her breakfast because she chose that moment to appear through the back door.
あら、小太郎が騒いでたから、さやちゃんが来てるのかと思ったんだけど。
So I thought Saya is here because of the Kotarou dog. So Saya decided to catch an earlier bus than usual.
そう。どうしたの？大丈夫かい？
So everything okay? She must have been worried when she saw the look on my face. And my brain is not capable of forming a response in that moment. However, well, I think I messed up. Okay, so how is he going to pick it up from here? And I wonder what's Saya's response and how she will feel towards Akito now that this has happened.
元気出しなって。別に振られたわけじゃないんだから。
Oh, don't worry about it, says Hikari. Yeah, but she's been ignoring my texts since this morning, and they aren't even marked as read. So our Six Stars Club meeting has finished, and we are on our way home. Sai hadn't showed up today either, so we hadn't seen each other since the incident this morning.
Yo, omaera.
Oh, hello. Takeichi is at the bus stop with a bunch of other members from the basketball team. So, wait, are you on your way home already?
明日練習試合だから。今日は早めに上がりだ。
Okay.
へえ、真面目にやってんだね。
今年は県大会目指してっからな。
So our school's basketball team is one of the better ones in the district. So we have a really competitive basketball team, and we're hoping, or Takeichi and his team is hoping to make it into like the regionals.
んなことで落ち込んでたのか。
So Takeichi has asked why I looked so down and was surprised by my answer. So after meeting at the bus station, the three of us ended up heading home together. Well, this is really bad.
光なんかの口車に乗せられっからだ。
Is it because you listen to Hikari's advice? Her crazy, no good advices?
なんかとは何よ。
ま、別に落ち込むほどのことじゃないだろう。お前らのことだし。
私もそう思う。すぐケロッと仲直りできるって。
But I'm sure Saya will understand that Hikari was the one behind it because, well, you've been together for a long time, and Saya can easily detect if it's one of Hikari's ridiculous ideas. So nobody is taking this seriously enough. And I guess they were not there, so they didn't know.
しかし、なんだな。やっとって感じだよな。
So at least you got Sai to blush and become red. So what happened?
お前と天の川だよ。俺、周りに行ってないだけで、実はもうとっくに付き合ってんだと思ってたぜ。
But what else?
外野の俺らからしても、これで一安心って感じだよ。
So Takeichi looked like a huge weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Had he really been worried about us? Well, what about you? So, how are things going with you and Nare?
言ってるよね。主に私のおかげで。
So, I wonder if it's true.
断じてお前のおかげなんて1ミリたりともねえし。
Well, you don't get credit. So, what's wrong then?
喧嘩できるお前らが羨ましいよ。俺なんてまだその域に達してねえからさ。
Well, I feel that you and Sai are closer together than me and Nare. So, I'm jealous. I see.
明日の練習試合、見に来てほしかったな。
Well, he sounded miserable. Well, she is busy for her entrance exams, isn't she? So she's a third year?
くそ、同い年に生まれたかったぜ。
Well, I'm sure next year, Takeichi is going to be suffering as well with his entrance exams, and Nare will be all relieved.
私さ、タケってサヤのことが好きなのかと思ってた。
I don't think that was the case.
はあ？なんだよそれ。
だってタケ、サヤが転校してきた日、サヤのこと泣かせたアキトにめっちゃ怒ってたじゃん。
So do you remember way back in the childhood days? And Takeichi was beating up, or like you were beating up Akito because he made Sai cry for calling her eyes looking like the Albedo stars.
返して欲しかったら明日転校生に謝れ。お前が泣かしたんだからな。
And Takeichi took Akito's telescope away. Oh yeah, that's right. So he did get mad.
つまんねえこと、よく覚えてんな。
But no, those were the old days. We were little kids and... Hey, that was around the time that Hikari gave you that rolling swordback kick and sent you flying.
女のやることじゃねえよ。
Well, that's ungirly. So Takeichi's face went a little pale. I may have struck a sore spot there.
まあ、転校してきたしょっぱなはよ。なんての？まるで大女優様って雰囲気で、田舎者の俺らを見下してる感じで。
なんてところに来てしまったのかしら。こんな田舎、美しいこの私にはふさわしくないわ。
I don't think Sai said that. It's probably Takeichi's thoughts.
すっげえ性格きつそうだったじゃん。
Oh yeah, so Sai never said that. Takeichi is just making things up. Okay? Sai had always been timid. I'm sure she had been worried what others would think of her different color eyes, so she had worn sunglasses. That's correct.
そうそう、サングラスかけてたんだよ。びっくりしたよね、最初見たとき。すごい子が都会からやってきたって村でも話題だった。
And the sunglasses gave unwanted attention to the students
けど
or the other
すぐ
classmates.
そうじゃないって分かっちまった。あいつすげえ性格いいじゃん。
Well, ever since then, you had a thing for girls with bad attitudes. And the more I said that, the more I felt like I was being rude to Nare. But that's what Takeichi seemed to like, so who was I to judge? I noticed she was a difficult person to deal with whenever she was around the Six Stars Club, but I didn't think she was a bad person. And if I remember, she was the first person to back out of the Six Stars Club because of Orihime's unreasonable budget.
懐かしいな。あの頃、いろいろあったよね。
So if you remember way in the beginning, when Orihime put the budget proposal together, it was so expensive that Nare was the first to back out, followed by Keisuke. And it almost shattered the Six Stars Club dreams apart.
つうか、タケとアキとすんごい仲悪かったのに、いつの間にか親友みたいになっちゃってるし。
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was usually busy at the store, so I didn't hang out with friends too often. But Takeichi is probably my closest guy friend.
私がいなかった間にも、みんないろいろあったんだね。
But then again, in the 6th year of elementary school, Takeichi started becoming closer to Akito, and he started recognizing that Akito is not a bad person after all. And that's when the bullying went away. And if I remember correctly, they even traded cards to make sure Takeichi gets his collection. And Akito didn't really care about a collection of some kind of card or something. Well, you don't have to feel sad about it. You're back to now, and there's still a lot of adventures to come.
ああ、っていうか、なんかやってんだろ？天文部、最近賑やかみたいじゃんか。
そうだよ。でっかい計画が進行中。こうご期待って感じだね。
お前にでっかい計画とか言われても不安しかねえぞ。
If it's from Rikari, it sounds questionable.
時が来たら表だって動き出すから。そしたらタケも協力してよね。
Takeichi did not look happy about what he is hearing.
しゃあねえな。
Well, I guess Takeichi did not sound very pleased.
じゃ、俺こっちだから。
Okay, alright.
練習試合頑張ってね。
おう。
Takeichi raised a hand in goodbye and headed off in a different direction than us. Okay, so what's next? So, Hikari and I continued on to the station together after Takeichi is gone. I headed over to the side of the store to lock up my bicycle and then noticed that Hikari looked like she wanted to say something.
さやだけどさ、もし本当に仲直りできそうになかったら言ってね。
Okay.
いや、さやのことだから絶対怒ってなんてないと思うんだけどさ。
Okay, well, I'll let you know tomorrow. I wasn't looking forward to this. I didn't think Saya would show up at the store that night, but I had an excuse to go see her next day. Okay, I have something I need to give her. So Honoka had given me a DVD earlier that day, and I wonder what it's about. And Toyota and the others at Nishihai had gone through all of their astronomy photos and burned the best ones onto the disc. Okay. And they had asked me to give it to Saya since she was the one working on the website. Okay, so use these pictures to design the website.
頑張ってね、アキト。応援してるから。
Hikari took my hand and squeezed it. It didn't really matter, but I did not even get flustered when Hikari took my hand either. And I guess that's what it meant to be childhood friends. Okay, thanks. So I'll see you later then.
またね。バイバイ。
So Hikari waves as she takes off towards the train station. And I gave Kotarou a quick pat on his head as he dozed in front of the shop and then headed up to my room to get ready for my shift. Okay, so going to Saya, we see that she's still not happy. She's kind of embarrassed. I set my pencil down with a sigh, so I decided not to go to the Sabai today and was studying in my room. And I wasn't making such progress. So, I don't feel comfortable being in here, but I think it's like without Akito, it's kind of hard for me to move forward. So I already eaten all of my reward chocolate as well. And she still remembers about the little incident. Remembering that morning again, I set my head down on my desk and covered it with my hands. And not only that, but he had been rubbing my butt with that lint roller too. And I knew that Akito hadn't meant to be mean, but I still got so embarrassed when I thought about it that I want to crawl into a hole and hide. And it felt like he had been rubbing my butt with the lint roller like he did on purpose. Well, that's true. I wonder. I cupped my steaming hot face in my hands and shook it. And though it was true that Akito and I had a different relationship now than we had before, it was not unthinkable that he would want to touch. So he must have been thinking at least a little about those kinds of things. So I gave my butt a rub to see what the appeal was. Well, I hope it's not a bad influence to Saya from that lint roller. So it felt pleasantly smooth, but that's it. And it felt like a shock had run through my body when Akito touched it. Well, I should have been happy. And this was exactly what I had wanted. Now that it had happened, though, I'm scared. I'm worried that I was doing something wrong again. And her cell phone rings. So what does Hikari have to say to Saya?
明日、アキトが家に行くと思うから。嘘。
I had a few messages from him, but I hadn't read any of them yet.
アキトも悪気があったわけじゃないんだよ。だから怒らないでやって。もしどうしても怒りたいなら、いやんバカって一発ビンタでもして、それでチャラにしてあげて。しないよそんなこと。何？いやんバカって。
Another of Hikari's crazy ideas. So what did this have to do with Hikari anyways? It was my butt that Akito touched, and I didn't think Hikari had to go to that trouble of telling me this. Well, that's Hikari. As I let out another sigh, my mother's voice comes echoing from up downstairs.
Saya, ご飯よ。
I wasn't very hungry after seeing so much chocolate, or eating so much chocolate, but I started putting away my books anyways. I decided to leave my phone on the desk, but I had a thought as I went to go downstairs. As I went downstairs for dinner, I began to wonder what Akito might like for a snack while he is here. Okay, so Akito is here. So Saya seems a little nervous as she set a cup of tea down on her desk for me. And there's a plate of cookies sitting next to it, too. Okay, thanks. I took one of the cookies. So it's Saturday, and we didn't have school. I didn't have a morning shift at the shop either, so after I finished opening, I grabbed the DVD Honoka had given me and headed up over to Sayo. Oh, here. So, here's some astronomy photos from Nishihai. So Sayo made an obvious effort to keep her distance from me as she took the disc. So it seems like she's being extra careful to keep me from flipping up her skirt and repeating what happened. So it had been quite a while since I had been in Saya's room, and the last time was when Hikari and I had come over to hang out before she gone overseas. And we didn't get to see that. So we come over a lot as kids to make our plans for the Mikazuki Astronomy Club. Okay, so that was way in the back in the old days. So, where's your mother?
お仕事だよ。
I see. Well, this is bad, so things are getting awkward. And if I keep this up, things would get worse. So I decide to apologize. Well, I'm sorry about what happened yesterday.
どうしてあんなことしたの？
So Saya, do you feel nervous around me? I'm just wondering.
したりしなかったりだよ。
But it doesn't make you feel nervous at all when I feed you pudding or hold your hand. Well, I'm sure those are normal, okay activities.
あんまりしないかな。
And the look on her face told me that she hadn't thought about it until that point. So we're dating now, but when we do things that a normal couple does, it doesn't feel special. And Sai didn't say anything, but her expression was one of agreement. I'm pretty sure she understands what I was trying to say. So I want to make you feel more like we're boyfriend-girlfriend instead of just childhood friends. Sai looks at me, her face turning slightly red.
してるよ。アクト君が気づいてないだけで。
Wait, I am? So when do I make you feel like or feel that way?
それを秘密が。
Now she is bright red. Sai is blushing brilliantly now and turned her face away. Hey, right there. So this is what I'm trying to get you to do. I want to be able to make you feel like that more.
欲しいって言われても。
Well, that's good, but
というか、あっくん、
except Akun? Yes.
ドキドキさせたいからって、あんな方法はダメだと思うよ。女の子のお尻を触るなんて、いけないんだよ。
So he pretty much gave Sai the wrong impression.
あっくんじゃなきゃ、いやんバカってピンとしてお別れしちゃってるかも。じー。
I'm sorry. And I dropped my head in shame. So yes, I was doing it the wrong way. Well, in that case, what should I have done instead? So she's clearly wondering why I was asking her this question.
そうだな。例えば、膝枕とか。
Okay, so let's do that then.
いや、そういうつもりで言ったんじゃ。
Well, okay, so she's getting embarrassed. And seeing her suddenly get shy told me this might work, so I patted the bed next to me.
いやよ、そんな恥ずかしいの。
Well, I can't do it right now. Saya turns her face away.
すごく落ち込んでる。
But you don't have to be upset.
わかったよ。少しだけだからね。
Okay. I look up at Saya, my eyes sparkling enthusiastically.
散歩行く時のコタちゃんみたい。
So you look like Kota-chan. Saya looks a little hesitant as she sits down on the bed.
はい、どうぞ。
Okay, here goes. Okay, so how is this? I lay my head down on Saya's lap. Well, I feel like I'm more embarrassed about this than you are. So now it's the other way around, and Saya's happy, saying, well, I want to do this to Akun.
あっくん耳まで赤くなってる。
And now I get to see you embarrassed. Hey, no teasing. My comment came out a bit strong. I began wiggling my head to her lap as I would have with a regular pillow.
もう動いちゃダメ。
Wait, why?
くすぐったいんだもん。
So here that just made me want to move around even more. And, let's see, squirm.
いや、ダメだってば。こら、あっくん。
So Saya puts her hand on my head.
ね、だよ。
So, how is this? Yes? So without thinking, I did what she said right away, and I suddenly feel very calm.
あっくん、こうしてると可愛いね。おっきな犬みたい。
Well, that doesn't really feel like a compliment. Should I start getting excited like a dog would? So, be like Kotarou?
ね、お利口にするの。
Well, no. So Saya looks pleased with herself as she begins stroking my hair. And her soft touch had me feeling relaxed and pleased as well. And I suddenly understood why Kotarou is so attached to her. Well, your lap is nice and warm.
そう？
Well, I wish I had this at home, and it would be great on cold nights.
じゃあ、私はあっくん抱き枕がいいかな。安心して寝られそうだよ。
I would be happy to be Saya's body pillow. And would it be alright with you if I asked an awkward question?
何？
So what is it? Sorry, feeling nervous? So Saya's face becomes serious for a split second.
してるよ。
I guess so. Well, you don't sound like it, so I don't think you are at all.
してるよ。してるもん。
Yeah, I am kind of nervous. Well, you don't look like it. In fact, you look the exact opposite, so you're completely relaxed.
そんなことないよ。ドキドキしてるよ。心臓の音聞かせてあげたいくらい。
So I reach my hand up, and I think she slaps him. Saya was too quick and knocked it away.
あっくん。
Well, it's just going to feel your heartbeat to check.
もう
Well, you shouldn't. And Saya doesn't look happy. Oh, I'm sorry.
あっくんだって同じじゃない。普通女の子の胸そんな簡単に触ろうとしないよ。
Well, you can't touch me like that. She's right. And since we are such good child friends, I hadn't thought twice about it. And if you were to rate how nervous you are right now, what would you say?
ドキドキレベル3ってところ。
So on a scale of what?
最高でレベル10くらい。
So just 3 out of 10, so you're somewhat nervous, but not. I'm slightly depressed, my head still resting on Saya's lap. So what do I have to do to make the number go up? So make Saya more nervous and embarrassed? My self-confidence as a man is in danger. And it's starting to look like my best bet would be the lint roll after all. But I'm sure Saya won't like it the second time around.
それは。
So Saya's fidgeting. She looks like she wanted to say something, but can't. Maybe she needed time to work out how to say it, so I remained silent and waited. So she gives Akito a kiss. Huh? I saw Saya's long hair suddenly fall down around my face, and before I knew what was happening, I felt something soft on my lips.
はい、おしまい。
Okay, that's good. Saya raises her head up, and I had never seen someone look so red. She looks like she was about to die from embarrassment.
ほらね、すごく照れてるでしょ。
Saya?
何？
Well, that happened so fast, I didn't really know what was going on. So, can we try it again?
もうおしまい。
So why not?
だって恥ずかしいんだもん。
Well, that's the point. I'm trying to get your heart beating. So he reveals to Saya what he was doing all along. And besides, I'd like to try that again, for real. So the kiss. And looking like she was about to die, Saya covers my eyes with her hand so that I could not see anything. And then... So Saya bent over from above until our lips met. And she stayed that way for a while. And it lasted, or I tasted those lips once before. She gently presses her lips closer to mine. And they felt incredibly soft and warm. So is that good? After a few seconds, Saya pulls away, and her face is bright red as she stared dreamily down at me with those two different color eyes of hers. More? Well, Saya, I'd like to kiss you some more. Saya gave me another embarrassed look before she reached up to tuck her hair behind her ear.
もう一回だけだよ。
She pressed a little harder this time, picking a little bit at my lower lip. And I pressed back, pecking at her lip in return. So after some time, the kiss ended and I asked Saya a question. So what would your rate of nervousness be now? So we're no longer kissing, but our lips remain so close together that they were nearly touching. Okay, so 20. Saya's eyes are glistening as she spoke. And from what she said, it would seem that she had gone completely off the scale. And my head shift still on her lap, I pull Saya towards me for another kiss. Saya is surprised and tried to pull away, but my arms kept her from moving. And after a moment, so she started kissing me back. and both fell into the kiss, pecking at each other's lips. And her hair fell down from behind her ear, and Saya tucked it back again with an annoyed sound. And it just fell right back then, though. Fed up, she decided to ignore her hair and redoubled her focus on her kiss. And something welled up inside me, and the only way I knew to get it out of the way was by kissing. And she wasn't trying to get away, but I held her even tighter. So what's happening now? So I wanted more of her lips, so I sat up. So I pushed Saya down on the bed. Saya? So I positioned myself above Saya, gazing down into her slightly moist eyes. Well, Saya, you're cute. And I continued staring into her eyes as I said this. As Saya lays in front of me, it was like I was seeing a side of her that I have never seen before. And being this close, I realized just how cute Saya is. She seems a little scared, but it was also like she was expecting something. And I could not hold myself back. So Saya went suddenly rigid as I grabbed her and pulled her tight to me. So now he can really see that Saya's heartbeat is up. There you go. And I could feel her throbbing heartbeat from where our bodies are touching. Well, this isn't casual, so I'm being completely sincere. Saya looks a bit uneasy at the serious tone of my voice and averted her gaze. She looks a bit frightened, yet still. So, still embracing Saya, I kissed her again, and we continued kissing as we held each other on the bed. And in my unending rain of kisses, Saya's face continues to grow even more red. So, do you not like it? Saya shakes her head. Well, I'm going to keep doing it even more embarrassing things with you, so we're dating after all. So Saya averts her eyes in embarrassment once more. And I want to take all of your firsts. Is that alright? Well, I don't mean kissing, I mean everything. Saya nods. So Saya sounds incredibly shy as she says this. Well, Saya, are there any other firsts that you want to try right now? Okay, so I noticed that I'm at an hour for this episode, or close to it, so I'm going to leave the rest to next episode. And if I do remember correctly from the past, I don't think Saya really wanted to be with Takichi at all. And it was just Takichi defending Saya, like, well, you made Saya cry, so I'm going to beat you up, Akito. But then when Takichi's minions tried to steal a telescope to destroy the Alberio event that Hikari and Akito set up, or worked hard to set up, that's when Saya stood up, like, well, that's not right. And she turned her back against the lackeys, or so what Takichi calls his minions. And that's when Sai kind of went over to Hikari and Akito's side, and after that Alberio event, they got together, and that's when the Mikazuki Astronomy Village, or club, was born. So we'll see how this romantic event goes between Sai and Akito. And I still don't really understand why Akito wants Sai to be all blushed and embarrassed. And I don't think it's a really good indication of them being a close couple. Or it's maybe just Akito likes to see Sai blush and be embarrassed. But anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you in the next episode.